Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me at the West Midlands Police headquarters in Birmingham. The Chief Constable, Craig Guildford, has today retired from West Midlands Police with immediate effect. In doing so, he has acted with honour and in the best interests of West Midlands Police and our region. I welcome his decision. I'm pleased this outcome has been reached having regard to due process and the law. That has prevented what might otherwise have been a complex procedure that would have caused significant distraction, impact and cost to West Midlands Police and the wider West Midlands. It was important this matter was resolved in a balanced, calm, fair, measured and respectful manner. The Chief Constable's retirement follows the decision of the Birmingham City Council Safety Advisory Group, based on the recommendation of West Midlands Police, to ban away fans from attending the Europa League football match between Aston Villa and Maccabi Tel Aviv on the 6th of November 2025. West Midlands Police have been subjected to understandable, intense and significant oversight and scrutiny as a consequence of events that led to the recommendation it made to the Safety Advisory Group. That has included the letter from His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary that was published as recently as Wednesday the 14th of January. That set out significant preliminary concerns and shortcomings in relation to the preparation and planning by West Midlands Police. It is important that I acknowledge the many positive achievements and contributions that Craig Guildford has made to policing within the West Midlands during the course of his 3 years tenure as Chief Constable. As Police and Crime Commissioner and on behalf of the people of the West Midlands, I thank him for his service. I have today appointed Deputy Chief Constable Scott Green as the Acting Chief Constable. We have already met to discuss the actions that the force must take to rebuild trust and confidence amongst all the people and communities of the West Midlands, including addressing the significant matters identified in the letter from HMIC. The Acting Chief Constable and I are committed to working together to prevent and tackle crime, bring offenders to justice, promote the rights and welfare of victims, and ensure the safety and security of all of the people and communities of the West Midlands. Thank you very much.
It feels to us, from everything we've seen, that there was a need that you felt that you had to justify banning these fans, and that scraping was done to find a reason.
Right. Well, that's absolutely not the case. I'm really sorry if it comes across in that way. That was absolutely not the case. The information, the intelligence that we received, that we documented, and we've shared absolutely all of that with HMIC FRS very, very recently, was all gone through. The mistake that was made in terms of the West Ham was one individual doing one Google search because he couldn't find the reference because it wasn't there within the system. But can I...
It absolutely wasn't. So we were very clear that there was a huge degree of consternation from the community around the arrival of Maccabi Tel Aviv, and that as a direct result of that concern, we got a lot of information and intelligence to suggest that people were going to actively seek out Maccabi Tel Aviv fans and would seek violence towards them. So we had sort of like a bubbling position locally, and then we had the information about Maccabi Tel Aviv and the assessment from the Dutch commanders.
You could have managed that in the way that we've been discussing with the Glasgow Rangers fans and kept in very restricted places, coaches in, not being allowed to go out into the local community. That could have been managed. That
could be managed, absolutely right. And there are a range of options available to all commanders when they are trying to police a range of risks. However, as the Chief has just referenced, the challenge, particularly when we got the information about Maccabi, was that the worry was that the Maccabi fans would target the community. And we saw that in the information intelligence, that we had people purporting to be Maccabi fans online who were goading local community members and saying, this is what you're going to get. So this was all forming part of the heat of the situation. So based on that, the commanders tried to make the right decision. That was reasonable in the circumstances. You've got a very hot community reception. You've got Maccabi Tel Aviv and the Dutch police saying we feel they actively targeted community members. Those two things together posed a sufficient risk. And
my personal opinion is there wasn't any political interference. I think there would have...
You did meet the MP.
Sorry, did I?
West Midlands Police did meet the local MP.
Yeah.
At their request.
They did, and that was the local MP for the area. Yeah, absolutely. We discussed that last time.
That, by its very nature, is political pressure.
I'm sure, you know, opinion formers of all sides wanted to do their influencing. But from my perspective as chief, I think your question is absolutely spot on. And my honest personal opinion is that the decision wasn't influenced by politics. Lots of local politicians and local members of the community, I'm sure, wanted to try and influence it, but I honestly don't think it was influenced.
I think we've learned a lot as a force in relation to our engagement with the Jewish community. I think if there is a silver lining in this whole situation, it's the fact that we are working, I think, closer and more strategically with the local Jewish community in the West Midlands. If I talk specifically around the engagement for this particular fixture, subsequent to the announcement at the end of August, from the 3rd of September onwards, West Midlands Police engaged very closely with our local community security representative, security trust representative, our CST rep, and that's sort of a tried and tested approach, but I think our learning is that we missed a real opportunity to get closer to our Jewish community sooner in relation to this fixture.